Okay, hi everyone. Good to see you again. So it's been a nice holiday for you. So now we're back to class. So Mr. Toby will not be teaching you science today, but I'll be teaching you something new called exam skills. So exam skills are actually skills that you need in order for you to take exams. It's not so easy, you know. So some of these skills include analysis, 分析. So you have to try to understand what this question is asking. I think for some of the science papers that you've done, you understand that sometimes when the question is asked, you actually don't answer the question. They ask you for A, B, and you give them B and C. So exam skills will actually help you try to work out these problems. But before we start with these analytical problems, we're going to start with something new. Not really new, it's something that you've probably already done. We're going to do something called prefixes and suffixes. The prefixes and suffixes are actually useful, especially when you need to work out what a word means, especially in a long passage. I can't understand this word, but if you make out the prefix and the suffix, you can roughly guess whether this word has a positive meaning or a negative meaning, or maybe you look at the root word, you're able to guess what the word actually is. All right, so let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start our lesson on prefix and suffix. This is especially useful when you come across new words. So, let's get into the lesson, guys. Let's go! Alright, so for this part of the lesson, we are going to look at our objectives first, okay? So, the first objective is to understand what prefixes and suffixes are and what they do. Basically, if we understand what a prefix and a suffix does, and we know enough prefixes and suffixes, we can actually guess the meaning of a word or get a rough idea. Roughly know what this word actually means. Our second objective will be keeping it for the next lesson. So let's go into our lesson on prefixes and suffixes. So for any word, we'll have to start with a root word. So this root word, we have a picture here of a heart, and what do you think this heart represents? Yes, it means pain. No, I'm kidding. Actually means love. Alright, so for this root word love, it's not really clear whether it's a noun or a verb. So let's change it into a verb. And so now our new root word would be loving. So for students who still do not know what a root word is, root word just simply means it is a word that starts everything else. Because the prefix and the suffix will change the meaning of the word, but it will be related to the root word. And so when we look at the prefix that I want to put in, I'm going to put in a prefix in blue with the meaning of no or not. And so now I'm going to put in the new prefix, which is un. Unloving. That means no, loving, not loving. I don't love. Okay, and now it's time to add the suffix. So just to review again, prefix we put in front and suffix we put at the end of the root word. So we have no, not, right? Which will give us the word un. And then the root word will be loving. And now I'm going to add a new suffix meaning way. This word way could be how something is done, or in Vietnamese it would be like cách làm, alright? And so for the suffix way, we have the word li. Lovingly, that means I do something with love. Unlovingly, that means I do something without love. I still do it, but not in a loving way. That's right. So remember, prefix in front, suffix at the end, and each prefix and suffix would have a different meaning, and it would change the meaning of the word as well. So these are some common prefixes that you'll find in everyday life, in language that you use all the time. The first word is kilo, meaning 1,000. So in Vietnamese, we will use just the letter K. Một ca, hai ca, ba ca. This ca actually just means 1,000. Alright? Next one would be neo. Neo, meaning new. Next one, re, meaning again. That means you do something again. Rewrite. your exercise because your handwriting is ugly. Rewrite. That means to write it again. Next one, auto, meaning self. You do it yourself. Automatic, right? Automobile. Automobile means car. A mobile is something that moves. Auto means something that moves by itself. Next word is for, from the word before. So let's look at this word. Forewarn. Forewarn. That means I have already warned you. Đã cảnh báo rồi. Next word would be over or too much. Right? So you put it in front of a word. For example, use the verb eat. Overeat, meaning I ate too much. Alright? So these are the common prefixes that we use in everyday life. There are tons of prefixes. And so it is important that you know most of them, because it really helps when you know the prefixes so that you can get an idea of what the words mean. And for the next part, it's even more useful. Sometimes when you come into a reading passage, you are unable to work out the root word because the word is just so new to you. For example, incoherent. Like, huh? What is that? I don't understand. Exactly. Incoherent. So, how do we guess the meaning of a word? These are some useful clues. There are prefixes that bring a negative meaning to the word. What that means is that it makes the word turn into a bad word or the opposite meaning of the word. So let's look at the few that we have here. We have in, ear, ill, an, non, and this. So when these 7 prefixes are put in front of a word, it actually causes the root word to have a negative meaning, or the root word will become its opposite. So let's just read some of the words here. So the words are, first one, immature. Mature means grown up. Immature means not grown up. Impatient. Patient means you are able to wait. Impatient means you are the opposite, not willing to wait, don't want to wait. Next one, inconvenient. Convenient just means it's very easy to get something done. It's very helpful. Inconvenient means not helpful, not easy, causes some problems for me, right? Next one, irreplaceable. This one has a few special words in it, eerie, all right, and placeable. What this basically means is replace. That means to put back. So if I break something, I want to put it back, I have to replace it. But irreplaceable means I am unable to put it back in place, or I'm unable to get a new one for what I've broken. Illegal is the opposite of the word legal. That means something that is with the law. Legal means with law. Illegal means not with law. That means these are crimes, things that the police will catch you for. So you roughly get the idea, right? So the other words that we have here are unfortunate, uncomfortable, unjust, non-fiction, non-political, non-neutral, disloyal, dissimilar, and dishonest. So if you're not too clear of what these words mean, just look at the root word. For example, dissimilar. So what word is familiar here? The root word would be similar or the same. So dissimilar would just simply mean not the same. Okay, and so we're done with the prefixes. So I'll just like you to remember that there are many prefixes, but today I've just divided them into 2 groups for you. One would be just normal prefixes that you have to learn in time. And the other one are very special prefixes, which are the negative prefixes. So once these words come out with the negative prefix, you know that it's bringing an opposite meaning to the word, or it turns the sentence into something negative. Do you understand that? So it gives you a better context to understand what the sentence is about or what the passage is about. So you work things out slowly like that. You guys got it? Don't worry. We're just going to go into the suffix and then we're done. Let's go. So now that we have grown comfortable with what prefixes are and how to use them, that we just put them in front of a root word, the suffixes are just as easy. Suffixes, actually you put them at the end of the word. And here are just some common suffixes that you will see. The first one will be a person who or a thing which. For example, teach. A person who teaches would be teacher. Right? Next one, age. Result of action. That means this verb that I did caused something to happen. So for example, let's use the word stop. Stoppage. Alright, to mean I stopped something. For example, the science book which you threw into the toilet has caused a stoppage. The toilet is now flooded. Mr. Toby is going to call your mother. So with the next part, and, it's the same as as in a person. For example, a person who helps you or a person who assists you will be an assistant. Assistant. Or a person who studies. Study. S-T-U-D-E-N-T. Student. A person who studies. Next one would be less, meaning not having. For example, Mr. Toby is a horrible person. He is friendless, not having any friends. Alright? So, next one would be full. Full of. Mr. Toby is prideful. That means he's full of pride, very arrogant. He looks down on everybody, doesn't think anyone is as good as him. This is why Mr. Toby is prideful and friendless. This is why Mr. Toby is friendless. Next one, ability to. The suffix would be able. For example, I am unable, meaning I can't do it. Teacher, I'm unable to do the homework because I am friendless. Good luck. Alright guys, so that's the end of the lesson. Let's just do a review. It's really easy. Okay, so suffixes are very similar to prefixes. It's just that you put them at the end, and sometimes suffixes can actually change the root word into an adjective. So it depends on what it is. So you guys will have to learn these skills. It's not too difficult, honestly, because once you get reading and once you get used to it, you are able to work out many words. I've done the IELTS test before, and wow, it was really hard because they ask questions about topics that you're not familiar with. For example, I had this question on cars, and I was like, I don't know anything about cars. But I was able to work out the meaning of the words slowly using the prefix and the suffix and root words, guessing whether the word has a positive meaning or a negative meaning. And so that was really helpful, and I got a good score actually. Okay, so before we end our lesson here today, get ready for classwork. Okay, so for your classwork, here's what I'd like you to do. I would like you to find another 5 prefixes and 5 suffixes. So you do not need to look for the prefixes with the negative meanings anymore. But after you find these 5 new prefixes, make sure they're interesting. All right, something new, something that people would have not thought of. For example, there's one there's one suffix that is pretty scary. It's a side, C-I-D-E. All right, so look out for it. Try to find out what this suffix with the word side means. C-I-D-E at the end of the word. All right, so I'll see you in class. Have a good day. Bye.